Naseem Hamed, also known as Prince Naseem, had a long, wildly entertaining, and decorated reign over the boxing world in the 90s. But as it happens for princes and kings, Naseem's career came crashing down. Let's take a look at the night Prince Naseem's career ended. But before we do, don't forget to subscribe below. Naseem was a British professional boxer who competed from 1992 to 2002. He earned titles at the featherweight and bantamweight divisions, slicing his way through just about every opponent he faced. WBO, IBF, WBC, IBO. Naseem had it all at one point. And boy, did he earn it in style. Naseem was known for his slick moves in the ring. He had a feather-like, unconventional approach to the sport that made him hard to hit. But it wasn't all show with the Prince. Between every slip and slide, he could throw powerful punches from a variety of combinations. He would dance in and out of range, create difficult angles, and close off the ring from his opponents. Prince Naseem always had some slick words after his wins.
Full stop. I refuse to lose. Allah will never make me lose. I will never lose. Full stop.
And his ring entrances were a whole display in themselves, whether it be a magic carpet, a pimped-out ride, or a dance to Michael Jackson's Thriller. He was known to start and end his fights in thrills, with a number of flips, dance moves, and devastating punches displayed from beginning to end. With all his powers combined, he was entertaining, dominant, and a downright showman. Then, in April 7, 2001, in a fight for the International Boxing Organization title belt, Naseem finally met his match in Marco Antonio Barrera. No doubt this was Naseem's toughest test to date, and many around Barrera's camp said he was in the best shape of his life after bumping up a weight division. Naseem's foe moved his training camp to Big Bear, California, but Naseem himself stayed in his camp at his local Bing Crosby gym across the pond in Britain. Of all those covering the pre-fight build-up, Emmanuel Stewart showed some concern for Naseem after watching a few of the Prince's training sessions. In the weeks leading up to the fight, he claimed that Barrera was looking razor-sharp and warned Naseem to take his sparring sessions more seriously. Whether Naseem heeded these words or not is unknown, but Barrera would go on to hand Naseem his first and only loss. Keep in mind, Stewart was one of the few, if not the only one, who doubted Naseem. In Vegas, Naseem was the betting favorite by 3-to-1 odds, but early on in the fight, it became clear that the odds don't always play out in favor. At this time, Barrera was a veteran star, but unlike Prince Naseem, he already had 3 losses, one coming from his rival Erik Morales, and the other 2 from American Junior Jones. In round 1, Barrera showed he was a force to be reckoned with. He came out swinging, and he swung hard, rocking Naseem back on his toes for the first time in his career. Barrera was an aggressive fighter, and unlike Naseem's previous opponents, he was able to disrupt Naseem's rhythm and keep him off balance. He stopped Naseem's footwork in motion and made it hard for him to weave in and out freely as he was accustomed to do. In turn, Barrera was able to maintain control of the fight. He would corner Naseem in a way that dampened his fast-moving, dancing style, and once Barrera got the Prince right where he wanted him, he was able to pick away at him round after round. Barrera also managed to shut down Naseem's signature left hands. Although a few landed throughout the fight, they seemed ineffective, and Barrera circled his opponent, constantly moving away from Hamed's dangerous punches, while at the same time closing the gap and creating openings for body shots and hooks to the head.
He's going for it. He's been on the wrong side of at least one decision here at Las Vegas.
Barrera, known as a tough, disciplined Mexican fighter, didn't seem to approve of Naseem's showman antics. He shut him down, embraced the clinch, and tried to keep the Prince still. His plan was effective and established early on, but he let Naseem know he meant business, even if it meant breaking the rules. Early on in the fight, both men fell to the ground on top of each other, and Barrera didn't hesitate to let a punch fly as they tumbled, as if to tell Naseem that he wasn't going to let the trickery fool him. And Marco kept that attitude until the final round, where he actually put the Prince in a full Nelson near the ropes and was deducted a point for his foul play from referee Joe Cortez. Finally, Marco Antonio Barrera had been announced winner of the fight by unanimous decision. From there forward, Barrera would continue to battle it out with top boxers of the early 2000s, including Manny Pacquiao, Erik Morales, and eventually Amir Khan, but not many expected Naseem to end his career so soon. The Prince handled his loss well. Somehow, he was as soft-spoken and proud as ever, even in shocking defeat. He gave Barrera his respect, but didn't announce his retirement just yet.
Still, at the end of the day, I give him all congratulations and all the best of all the success in the
After
world
his
to him
perfect
in the
record
future.
was lost and his winning streak came crashing down, Naseem still had some fight in him, but ultimately he ended up retiring just one fight later. A small kid from Sheffield, Yorkshire, Prince Naseem was the son of Yemeni parents and began his boxing life at Brendan Ingles' Winklebank Gym, where he built his flashy style and honed in the skills that would carry him through his career. After 37 professional fights, Naseem's impact on the boxing world was undeniable. Some say he could have gone on to be the best ever, but blame his steep fall from grace on a lack of focus and long gaps between fights. Others claim he was cutting corners in training camps and got too confident. But in the end, we cannot say. There's no denying that the demands of training camps are long, rigorous, and often detrimental to a boxer's personal life. And once the fame and fortune comes, it's harder to stay hungry. By 1997, Naseem was ranked by Forbes' list as one of the world's highest paid athletes. And remember, this was long before Floyd Mayweather Jr. made his mark. Naseem amassed a fortune of over $50 million, making him the second richest British boxer of all time, behind Lennox Lewis. But even with his career cut short, some still claim Naseem is the greatest British boxer of all time. He's now an inductee of the Boxing Hall of Fame and ranked on many pound-for-pound lists across the boxing world. Naseem's abilities are legendary, but more than anything, he was an influential fighter. After all, how many boxers have a video game made after them? Probably just Naseem and Tyson, right? Ironically, Naseem did for the smaller, slick fighter what Tyson did for the short, stocky heavyweights. The way Tyson showed a smart fighter could win by getting inside, Naseem showed the world that the lighter divisions could dance with power and entertain. He drew attention to these lower weight classes in the wake of the Leonard, Hearns, Duran era, and he showed that the bantamweight and featherweight divisions hosted world-class talent and could pack even the grandest of arenas. He not only opened the door for smaller fighters, but for British fighters too. Now those from smaller divisions from the UK have hoped to fight on bigger cards, join bigger promotions, and make bigger bucks, as many of them went on to do. He inspired a generation of fighters to come, and you can see his inspiration in superstars like Amir Khan, Tyson Fury, and Conor McGregor. The rise was long and decorated, and it all came crashing down in one night, yet Prince Naseem's legacy remains. You know of any other fighters who followed this same pattern, or don't they all? One loss or a losing record, these guys put their hearts on the line and deserve respect.